6:34 on this Friday morning. Maclean's leadership debate is August 6th at 5 p.m. You'll see it here on City. Federal Liberal leader Justin Trudeau on the BT couch to talk about all things. But in particular, let's start with the idea of a coalition government. And that's the newsiest of things that you've literally come out and said, no.
Well, I've continued to say no. My position on that has been very consistent. Unlike the NDP, Mr. Mulcair, troublingly, actually says the one thing in French. In French to Quebec, he says absolutely no coalition. In English and the rest of Canada, he says, yeah, it could be open to it. And that's the kind of leadership that I think Canadians don't need from a future Prime Minister. The fact is, I'm not interested in reducing options at the ballot box for Canadians. I trust that people understand we need a cohesive, better plan than Mr. Harper's putting forward, and there's a lot of things from unity of the country that Mr. Mulcair wants to go against the Supreme Court on national unity or on a plan for growth. I mean, he continues to support Mr. Harper's plan to give wealthy Canadians child benefits.
We'll get to the child care benefits in just a second, but going back to why is it such big news right now that you're saying no to a coalition government when you've been consistently saying that? Why do you think that is continuing to spark?
People are talking politics. I mean, people are trying to distract from the fact that the economy is having real troubles. Mr. Harper wants to talk about anything else, whether it's now Constitution and Senate or coalitions or anything to distract from the fact that Canadians need help. And Mr. Harper and Mr. Mulcair don't really have a plan to grow the economy and to help families.
So do you ever get tired of hearing that one clip that the budget will balance itself? When that topic does come up, people say, well, it's not going to balance itself, but you're actually coming forward with
balanced budgets. I mean, everyone understands Liberals balance budgets, Conservatives run deficits. And what I actually was expressing in that clip, if you actually listen to it for more than the 3 seconds that is put in those ads, is that the best way to balance the budget is to grow the economy, because revenues to the government increase and it becomes much easier to grow into balance that way. But, you know, Flaherty and Oliver have said it as well. It's just, it's part of the obsession that Conservatives have with attacking me rather than putting forward solutions for Canadians.
And shining the light on exactly what is happening with Canadians. And you've had a very visceral reaction to the child care benefit that just landed in all of our bank accounts.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good thing to give the families who need it money in their pockets to spend, to invest, to grow the economy. That's good. The problem is this one's going to be clawed back at tax time for a large number of families, so they're not really, I mean, they think they're getting more money than they are because that's what they want in time for election. But the other thing is they're continuing to give the benefits to the wealthiest Canadians. You can make $1 million and still get child benefits, and we think that's wrong. So what we've put forward is a Canada Child benefit that is, first of all, tax-free, so what you get every month is what you're going to get for good. And the other thing is it's more generous for the people who need it. So any family making a combined income less than $150,000, which is a good, strong number, is going to get a larger check. But people making over $200,000 won't get any money from the Canada Child benefit. And that focus on helping those who need it is where we contrast with Mr. Harper and Mr. Mulcair.
All right, I'm switching gears on you here because I want to know your thoughts on the new news from the Prime Minister with regard to the Senate.
You know what? How many people at home are right now thinking, geez, I hope the Prime Minister talks about constitutional negotiations? That's really worrying me right now. He's trying to distract from the economy, from the fact that his plan has failed. Over 10 years, we've seen terrible growth records, the worst since R.B. Bennett in the 30s for any Prime Minister. And since Christmas, we've completely stalled.
So if you're asked point blank, do you support abolishing the Senate? What's your answer?
No, I don't. I think we need to reform it. I think we need to fix it. I'm the only one who actually put forward a plan by removing Liberal senators from my caucus, by talking about the fact we're going to appoint them in a nonpartisan, transparent, responsible way. Mr. Harper continues to use it as his a repository for bagmen to raise money. That's not what we need, and putting Patrick Brazo and Pamela Wallin and Mike Duffy in the Senate is what got us into here. So Mr. Harper is just trying to distract from his terrible record by talking about something else.
Let me be Western-centric, if we could be. Just right now, wildfires are up. It's raining, which is fantastic, but that means probably lightning, which probably means more wildfires. It's at a level never seen before in our province and across the West. Why are we not seeing more support federally with at the level of not even money, but just helping our firefighters put these fires out?
Well, I mean, obviously, we need the federal government to be a proper and full partner in the challenges we're facing, and that's what we need to continue to do. But on the other hand, we also need a government that recognizes that dry periods and droughts and record temperatures and extreme weather events are going to become more and more common. And having a government that recognizes the reality of climate change and the responsibility of the federal government to work with the provinces to reduce our emissions, to be part of the solution, but also to invest in infrastructure and support that's going to make us more resilient to the impacts of climate change. That's something we haven't seen in 10 years from this government. That's why I'm committed to environmental responsibility.
It's going to be interesting to see the leadership debate that is happening on August 6th, 5 p.m. on City, and you can hear it on News 1130 as well. It is yourself, of course, Thomas Mulcair, Elizabeth May, and Prime Minister Harper all together in what is being dubbed as a meaningful conversation as opposed to a fully staged debate like we've seen in the past. You're open to that? Oh,
I look forward to it. I've spent the past years having meaningful conversations with Canadians, whether it's open town halls where I take questions from anyone who shows up, to actual conversations with reporters that Mr. Harper doesn't do a lot. I'm looking forward to the chance to contrast my plan with their lack of plans.
We appreciate you making yourself available, and always you are walking in the Pride Parade?
I am. Absolutely. Look forward to it.
As you did last year, right?
As I always do.
As you always do. Thank you very much. Federal Liberal leader Justin Trudeau with us on the BT Couch.